times and does this whole song and dance 2 more times, to which the mom declines.
I really hate hearing stories like this where mothers have laid out their entire birth plan and people just decide to. I was having my daughter and I had to have a C-section because she had edema, and the edema is super rare, and they thought she had high drops and that she would have a lot of distress and trouble. She didn't, like I said, it was edema, totally fine, made it out. It was a lot of water weight. We had to deal with that, completely separate issue. Anyway, 3 years later, we got ready to have my son. Now, my son, I went around to OBs and hospitals and asked, hey, I've had a C-section. I waited well past the 18 months to get pregnant so that everything could heal. And if I was in labor, would you let me labor or would you intervene? They answered, we would intervene. You've had a C-section, you're probably going to have another C-section. We're just going to do the C-section and save everybody some time and just do it. And 4 times, 4 different doctors, 4 different places of establishment. I went to a birth center and they said, oh, because you're technically a VBAC or attempting a VBAC, we would send you over to this hospital who might already interviewed. And I was like, okay, well, we're not going to do that. Found a birth center that would do it, and they said, oh yeah, we have an OB on call, but they just let us do our thing. We only use them in case of an emergency. As long as you're going along fine, it should be fine. I was like, sweet, cool deal. COVID hit, and they said we would send you to the hospital with 1 person allowed in the room because COVID precautions and all of that. We're really sorry. There's nothing we can do about that. We have to go from here. So I hired a midwife team to do a home birth, and I set up a home birth so that I would be left alone because I wanted a VBAC if that was physically possible. I wanted to be left alone to let my body figure it out, and because it was a VBAC, it would take more time for my body to figure that out. It took 5 days, labor on and off. I had 2 doulas who were in training, who were alternating, 2 midwives. 1 was my primary, a second was backup, and then my birth photographer was also a doula and knew what she was doing. So I had a full team ready to go. And the day of my labor, it took 4 hours for my son to be born. I tore minimally and I was completely fine. And now doctors say, oh yeah, we'd let you try to labor and hopefully we wouldn't have to intervene. But that's still, their basis is, we'll probably intervene. It's really annoying.